Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I pray that you are doing good and that this video is something that increases you in blessing and happiness and understanding of religion. I was thinking about something that a lot of people misunderstand. And what does it mean to worship Allah? And worship is that thing that we were created to do. Like recently I've been thinking about like life and what is the most important aspect of this life and how can we live our lives in alignment with that aspect of life. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defined it for us very clear. He told us that he did not create insan and jinn except to worship him. And this means in all of our actions, in every living, waking moment, we should be in a state of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And, in life, when we look at the movies, we look at TV, we look at life, for some reason we think that worship is actually like, I have to get married, I have to buy a house, I have to have children, I have to like achieve all these goals, whatever your goal is, whether it's weight loss, whether it is getting into a specific school, whatever it is, you're associating your life purpose with that work. And that isn't your life purpose. Your life purpose is actually the intention that you put behind that work. That is your life purpose. And, being somebody that's recently had a huge life altering situation, I realized that, I stopped doing the da'wah because I changed my technically life purpose to being a wife and a mother. And life would have it, whatever you put before Allah, what does he do? He takes that thing away from you and calls you back to himself. And so you realize that in life, you can't put something in, not that Allah is in your heart. Allah cannot be in a location. He's not in this world. He's not outside of this world. The mind can't imagine Allah. However, when you love something more, you're thinking about something more, you're worried about something more than Allah, you're more concerned about something other than Allah, other than how Allah perceives you. You start to do muraqabah, like reflection and thinking about and constant awareness of something other than Allah. It's high chance if you're somebody that, is naturally leaning towards the iman in a yaqeen way, in a strong way, that Allah takes this from you and reminds you and brings you back to himself. And so don't be surprised if what you thought you loved the most in this dunya was taken away from you. Don't be surprised because for whatever reason, you put that between you and Allah. You forgot about Allah and Allah called you back. And the thing is that like a lot of times we think like, what is the wisdom in that? Like, why can't I have both? Why can't I have both? Because you could have both. Had your heart been aligned in the right way, you could have both. Had your heart been able to love Allah more while holding this other person, circumstance, or whatever it was in your heart in a healthy way, then you could have had both. And that's just how it is, right? But the second you start to unalign yourself from having muraqabah of Allah and you start aligning yourself with having conscious awareness of something other than Allah, Allah will challenge you. And Allah's challenge is greater than our ability to withstand it. Like meaning Allah will change and alter your life and you will not be able to stop it. You won't. And so the advice that I have for you in this video is worship Allah alone. Seek Allah. Seek Allah. What does that mean? Worship Allah alone and seek Allah. That means when it comes to dealing with life, whether it's any situation or person you want, like you want a specific outcome, or you want a specific person, or you want children, or you want health, or whatever you want, you have to accept that Allah is creating this. It doesn't belong to you anyways, right? In a way, we think to ourselves that something is our right. We must have it. We must acquire it. It must belong to us. That's the main problem, right? Like you think, you're married to this person. They belong to you. They belong to Allah. And Allah can take them away from you. your children, your career, your whatever you're attached to, your beauty, your health, your wealth, your family, your friends, your social status, your reputation, whatever it is. It belongs to Allah. It's a creation of Allah. It does not belong to you. So the second you go from making awareness and worry about how Allah perceives you, basically, you're no longer worried about what Allah knows about you. You're worried about maintaining the creation and keeping that creation in your life. Then that's where the problems are going to arise. That's where you're going to see problems if you're close to Allah. If you're not someone close to Allah and in your heart you don't really have an affinity for Allah, what will happen is you'll continue in that way. Allah will leave you in it, And so that's why they say Allah gives and tests those that are closest to Him, because what is He doing? He's clearing their heart from loving other than Him. He's keeping them with Him. So don't look at somebody that's being tested as though it's an abandonment or forsakenment, like they're forsaken. No. They're the lovers of Allah, and rather Allah is drawing them near to Him. And the thing I will conclude with is don't lose hope. Just because for a moment Allah separated you and what you loved, once you love Allah, once you're close to Allah, you think Allah will not bring you the same thing or that same person or the same circumstance you wanted, but this time in a better situation because now you put a barrier between them and your love for Allah comes first. You think Allah will just abandon you after learning your lesson and not grant you? When you give up something for the sake of Allah, Allah will give you something better. And imagine you gave up something you loved because the mistake that you made is that you loved it in a way that you should not have loved it. And this loving, the state of love for the human, is remembrance. That's what people don't tell you. Love is actually remembrance and an action attached to that remembrance. So what does that mean? When you love something or someone, you think about them often. And when you think about them often, you want to do something with that. Like it moves you to do something. So when you love Allah, you think about Allah often, and it moves you towards doing something for that love. And then it becomes worship, the sincere intention and the actions, hakada. But when you remember other than Allah, you're remembering it, and you're trying to do something for it. You could be looking for jobs. You could be trying to, better yourself and get educated. You could be anything, but you're remembering it. You're thinking about it. You're doing things for it. You're attached to it. You love it. You have affinity for it. But you're not thinking Allah first. Like, how does this tie back to Allah? How does this not tie back to Allah, but how does this, the source of this action and this awareness I have about this thing, it's because I love Allah. Meaning, for example, you're going to clean your house because Allah loves what is pure. You're going to raise your children on Islam because Allah has taught us to teach Islam to our children. You're going to get married because Allah taught us to get married and fulfill that sunnah. Everything you do, it goes back to how it impacts your relationship with Allah. And that is how you develop the barrier between you and losing yourself and losing what you love, And honestly, it's sad, like when Allah takes away something, but when you know He took it away to draw you to Him, it's a different emotional experience because you feel like, wow, like Allah, you really love me. And then, so don't be sad. Don't be sad if for whatever reason you may have forgot Allah on your journey. And then for whatever reason, you recognize that Allah took everything away from you to turn your heart in awareness to Him. And you could have been already aware of Allah. That's the thing. It's not that these people that Allah does this to, it's not that they're not aware of Allah. They're actually very hyper vigilant and hyper aware of Allah. Rather, what happens is that they are also hyper vigilant and hyper aware of another thing, right? And Allah does not compete. No. Either it's all or nothing for Allah. So remembering Him like this, remembering Him like that, but not making your sincere intention towards specific things, what will happen? What will happen? What will happen is that you will end up not understanding that Allah took this away from you because you needed to complete a full sincere intention with regards to Allah and this person or this situation. You need to make it about Allah first. and then that thing. Whereas you were making it about that thing and how much you wanted it. So remember, if you like to think about Allah and everything else, but then you have an aspect of your life where it's just about that thing, and maybe 5% you're making the sincere intention, be prepared to get shaken up and put into the 100% intention category. Barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.